Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and those of you who are new to this channel, welcome. This one is going to be about Pietro truly showing that he can be just as good of a speedster as Barry, and also more about what Barry's life is like as a forensic assistant. After all, he's actually going to be doing some work in this chapter. But also, since I'm not, going to just get rid of Dr. Light yet, I think that she may have a purpose in this one. The Earth 2 Linda Park. That is Dr. Light. But I'm pretty sure you would all rather me just cut to the chase and let the story speak for itself. So, by all means, let's go ahead and get it started.
Chapter 2, The Speed of Light. Wait, Cisco. Barry called out. Yeah. Cisco answered while stepping into the room Barry and Pietro were in. I been meaning to ask you, how did you know she was in the Central City Bank? Barry asked. Caitlin raised a curious eyebrow at Cisco. Oh, I had an alert on my phone. Every time there's a robbery, it either rings or vibrates. Caitlin squinted at Cisco suspiciously. Barry just looked confused. When did they make bank robbery apps? Caitlin questioned. I think I can upgrade the STAR lab satellite to scan for any irregular solar radiation emissions and we can find Dr. Light's. Light. Cisco said. Okay, well, I'm going to call CCPD and see if they have any leads. Barry said. Oh, and guys, Barry whispers to Caitlin and Cisco. I know I can't see right now, but let's try and keep Jay and Wells apart. Barry said in a low voice. I don't think that will be a problem. Caitlin said. At the Central City Police Department. Hey Joe, you know where Alan is? The captain asked. Yeah, I just got off the phone with him. He's at a friend's house right now. He got hurt. It's not too bad, thank God, but he's out of commission at the moment. Joe said. Well, when he gets back, tell him he has a lot of cases waiting for him at his desk. Of course, Captain Singh, I'll let him know as soon as I see him. Joe said. Then Iris walked in. Hey Dad. Iris greeted. Hey. Joe said warmly. Is Linda okay? Yeah, she is okay, a little traumatized, and anxious but okay. That poor girl. Joe said in empathy. Yeah, have you heard there's a new guy at STAR Labs now? Iris asked. Yeah, Barry told me about that, his name is Pietro Maximov. Joe answered. He told me the Speed Force sent him from another universe. Joe said. Well, I think he's good, he helped Barry stop that meta-human that attacked the Central City Picture News. Iris said. Yeah, I appreciate him for that, but I still think it's a little too early to say for certain if we can just trust somebody who just shows up out of nowhere. Joe said. You still have that gun I gave you, right? Iris nodded. Good, as long as you go to STAR Labs make sure you always have that by your side. Joe said. First Jay, then this new Wells, and now this new speedster that just shows up. I'm sorry baby, there's just too many wild cards to not expect someone to stab us in the back. Joe said sadly and uncertainly. So, you're saying I shouldn't trust any of them? Iris asked. I'm just saying we should be cautious. It's happened to us before, what's to stop it from happening again? Joe asks. Iris looks down in thought. Good point. Iris said. Oh, and that friend of yours from the paper, I'll have a squad car at her house, around the clock, To make sure she's safe. Joe said as he got up and walked out. At STAR Labs. Finally. I can see again. Pietro said in relief. Lucky you. Barry grumbled. Are your eyes not getting any better? Pietro questioned worriedly. Don't worry, I'll just take another 4 more hours or so, I'll be fine. Barry said, assuring him. Well, while we wait, I would like you to answer some of my questions, please. First, how was I able to walk through that car just by vibrating? Pietro asked. Wait, you couldn't do that on your Earth? Barry asked. I didn't think I could. When I got my powers, as far as I knew, all I could do was run fast. Pietro said. Well, you can control your inner molecules as well, therefore putting your body in an excited state where you can walk through anything. Barry explained. Pietro nodded. Pietro looked at his vibrating hand. Well, when you get better, will you at least help me understand this better? He asked. Yeah, sure. Barry simply answered. Anything else? Barry asked. Yes, you also told me about how you were able to run as fast as you do, without your clothes or shoes catching on fire. Pietro said. Yeah, Cisco made me a suit that is friction-proof. Barry said. Friction-proof? Pietro said curiously. Yeah, it's for when I run great distances, the suit won't catch on fire. Then Pietro nodded understandingly. I see, he said. Well, can this friend of yours make me one too? Pietro asked. Yeah, I can talk to him. Barry said with a small grin. Thanks. Pietro said in gratitude. Pietro looked up as he heard footsteps approaching. Pietro raised his eyebrows in surprise, he never saw that man before. Hey, who is that? Barry asked. It is some black man with a gray beard. Pietro said, giving a vague, uncertain description. Barry thought about it for a minute and said Joe. Pietro squinted in confusion. You know that man? Pietro asked. Yeah, I'm his father. I've known him for 15 years. Who are you? Joe asked with a hint of uncertain aggression. Easy Joe, this is the guy I told you about on the phone, his name is Pietro Maximoff. Well, I'm Joe West. He said, introducing himself. I'm a cop. Joe said bluntly. Yes, well, that is good for you. Pietro simply said. Joe gave a scowl that bored into Pietro. Pietro looked away unmoved. Joe. Are you still there? Barry asked. Bear, can I talk to you for a minute? Joe asked. Yeah, Pietro. Can you give us the room, please? Barry asked. Yes, of course. Pietro said, walking out of the room entirely. I'm not so sure you should just trust someone who just shows up out of nowhere, Bear. Joe said in untrusting suspicion. I honestly don't know what to think about him, and his story about how he died on his Earth and the Speed Force sending him here. I honestly just don't know. Barry said with uncertainty. Look, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Iris. Be cautious. Especially around those 3 new guys. Dr. Wells tricked all of us before last year, what's to say, Jay, Pietro, or this new Wells, won't do it again? Joe asked in a low voice. I get what you're saying, and I'm keeping a close eye on Jay and Wells, but Pietro helped me save Linda and Iris. Pietro's not a bad guy. Barry said. Wells helped you save a lot of people last year, and look what he's done to all of us in the past 15 years. Joe pointed out. Barry turned his head down and raised his eyebrows in thought. Yeah. I remember. Barry said in a low, sad way. Look. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to remind you of all that. I'm just saying you shouldn't be too trusting. Joe said. I get what you're saying, Joe, but let's try and start off on the right foot with Pietro. We could really use his help, and Dr. Wells almost drove him away. It may not seem like it considering how much help we have around here, but we could really use another speedster here with us. And Pietro can be a pretty big help to us, Barry said. Joe nodded in acceptance. With Cisco and Harry Wells. Here's how it is, Crisco. You don't have to like me, I don't like you. But you'll have to work with me, to stop Zoom, and Dr. Light. Can you do that? Harry asks Cisco. I guess we'll see, won't we? Cisco asks. Yeah, I guess we will. Harry said before looking at his watch and flipping the head down. Harry's starting to get on my nerves. Cisco thought in annoyance. Oh good, I found you. Pietro said. Barry told me you made him a suit that could withstand his speed. Do you think you can make one for me too? Pietro asked in a hopeful manner. Yeah, sure, I can get to that right now. Cisco said almost eagerly. And I can also come up with a name for you. Cisco added. Thanks. I've never thought of giving myself a nickname yet. Pietro mumbled in thought. Well, you don't have to worry about that, you can leave that to me too. Cisco said insistently. At Linda's house. Look, it's nice of you to make us some dinner and everything, but we were assigned to protect you. Patty said. I know, but I cook when I'm nervous or anxious and I don't want this food to go to waste. Linda said. Well, considering how good everything looks, I'm not complaining. An officer partnering with Patty said. And besides, we both can use a break anyway. He said. We barely did anything, all we did was just sit around in the car most of the day. Patty pointed out. Oh come on Spivet, we're here now, and she made all of this food. It'd be a shame for all of it to go to waste. Patty thought about it for a moment, then put on a smile, and shrugs her shoulders. Yeah, we're here now so, why not? She sat down at the table. Then Linda placed on the table a bowl of what looked like fried chicken with rice underneath. Excuse me for asking, but is that chicken or fish? The officer asked. It's called chicken katsu, my dad used to make it for me. And that is a special egg roll recipe. Linda said, pointing to the vegetables wrapped up in what looked like a yellow fried tortilla shell. Then everybody ate and shared a great deal about each other. Those things got a little awkward when Linda mentioned that she went out with Barry last year, and Patty said that she was going out with Barry now. Though they briefly caught each other off guard, they eventually brushed it off and enjoyed each other's company. At STAR Labs 3 hours later. Guys, I can finally see again. Barry said loudly in relief. Good, cause we need to find Dr. Light again. Harry Wells said in a low impatient voice. Huff. You seem to be in an awfully big hurry, Harry. Cisco said as he and Pietro walked in. That's because I have an idea of how to find Dr. Light. Harry said. How? Barry asked. Remember this? Harry asked, holding up Dr. Light's helmet/visor. Yeah, Pietro knocked it off of Dr. Light when he tackled her to the ground. Caitlin said. But we can't get anything from it, whatever evidence we get from it would only point to Linda. Barry pointed out. I know, all we have to do, is just give it to him. Harry said, gesturing to Cisco. Me? Why me? 'Cause you have powers. Wells said. Caitlin raised a surprised eyebrow, and Barry gave a look of disbelief. What are you talking about? Cisco asked, pretending to be confused. I developed this watch to detect meta-humans. Harry said, opening up the top, pointing it at Barry. When he held it up to Barry, it made a beeping sound and blinked red. Then he walked over to Caitlin, holding it up to her, and it was just blue. You never got an alert on your phone, you never reprogrammed the STAR Labs satellite. And this is why. Harry held it up to Cisco and it blinked red. "You're a meta-human," Harry said. Cisco closed his eyes and exhaled in an annoyed fashion. "Cisco, have you known about this and didn't say anything to us?" Barry asked. "Yeah, I was going to tell you." "Thanks a lot, Harry," Cisco said, annoyed. "I swear, I was just scared," Cisco finished. "Of what?" Barry asked. "Dr. Wells, Eoberthon, said that the dark matter gave me this gift. He said that one day I'd thank him for it," Cisco said. "What if I become like him?" Cisco asked in a weary, worried way. "Cisco, I don't think any of us would become evil if we all of a sudden got powers, even if they were from Dr. Wells, Eoberthon. Caitlin said sincerely. "Yeah. Maybe you're right, I'm sorry, I should have told you earlier," Cisco said in a low, sorrowful manner. "Well, you can be sorry later, 'cause right now we need to use your powers to find Dr. Light," Harry said unsympathetically. "Cisco, your abilities, how do they work?" Jay asked. "Sometimes, I get these feelings, these visions, these vibes, of the Breachers when they come to this earth. I'm not sure what triggers it, sometimes it just happens, sometimes it's when I'm touching something of theirs." Cisco tries to explain. "Touch the helmet/visor," Harry said, putting it on the table. Cisco put his hand on the visor but nothing was happening. "I don't think it's working," Cisco said. "Try again," Harry said. "Try again," Harry thundered. "I am." "Relax," Cisco said irritably. Cisco touched it again. "Still nothing," he said. "Again," Harry yelled once more. "I can't control it," Cisco said. "That's 'cause you're afraid," Harry said. "I am telling you, I don't know how this works. I can't just make it happen," Cisco said loudly to Harry. Then Harry picked up the helmet/visor. "And I'm telling you, yes you can," Harry said, shoving the helmet/visor into Cisco's chest. Cisco gasped as he got a vision of Dr. Light walking up to a house with a police car pulled up at the front. Then, when Cisco felt himself standing in Star Labs again, he told Barry everything. How Dr. Light in a black trench coat was headed to Linda's house, maybe already there. Then Cisco gasped again and he was back at Linda's house, but this time Zoom was there, and the only thing he said was there's been a change in plans. Then Cisco blinked and he was standing back in Star Labs again. "Zoom's there now too," Cisco said. "I will go with you," Pietro said. "Not yet," Barry said, stopping him. "You need a costume and a code name. As much as I appreciate your help from last time, you can't come with me yet." Pietro was about to argue, but Cisco put a hand on his shoulder and reminded him that he's already working on something for him, and when the time comes, Barry will have all the help he'll need. Especially to beat Zoom. Then Barry with his super speed grabbed his suit and ran off. At Linda's house, Barry shows up in time to see Dr. Light and Linda park on their knees with their hands bound and encased in iron. "What's going on?" the Flash asked. "I've been expecting you, Flash," Zoom said in grim anticipation. "Now it's time for you to decide who lives and who dies," Zoom said in a slow, menacing voice. Then both of his arms started vibrating. "Wait. No," the Flash said, realizing what he's about to do. "If you just stand there and do nothing, I kill them both. Either way, someone will die. It's your choice. You have until the count of 3 to make a decision," Zoom said. 1, 2. Zoom takes a stance as he gets ready to shove both arms through both of their backs. "No. No, don't. 3. No," the Flash shouted as he uses his speed to save one of the girls from Zoom's vibrating hand. Barry opened his eyes to see that the girl he had safely in his arms was Linda Park, who also had her eyes tightly closed, expecting a hand to be shoved through her chest. But she opened her eyes to see that she was safely in the Flash's arms. "Are you okay?" the Flash asked. Linda frantically shook her head yes. "Wait," the Flash said as he looked up. But he was more surprised than anything else. 'Cause not only was Dr. Light safe, but Pietro was the one who saved her. "What? Neither of you saw that coming?" Pietro asked in a cocky tone. You must be new." Zoom assumed grimly. "Doesn't matter, your speed will be mine as well, just like the Flash's will be," Zoom grimly declared before he sped off. At STAR Labs. "Sorry we had to bring you here, but this seems to be the only place where we can protect you," the Flash said in a loud echoey voice. "Well, with all due respect to the police, I think being around a superhero is the best thing for me right now," Linda said, trying to recover from the trauma she went through. "None taken, considering what they're all capable of. We're lucky enough to have someone like the Flash working with us," Joe said. "By the way, who was the other guy with you?" Linda asked. Everybody looks down in nervous thought, trying to think of something. "Oh, he's gone," Cisco said. Yeah," Caitlin assured. "Come on guys, I remember him racing the Flash and breaking his legs when he landed right in front of me yesterday, then the Flash picked him up and ran off, and if this is the Flash's headquarters, I'm pretty sure that other guy is somewhere around here too. So, where is he?" Linda asked. The Flash thinks for a moment. "Well, I'm sure she'll find out eventually anyway," he thought. "Linda," the Flash said, getting her attention. "We want to help protect you in any way we can, but to do that you're going to need to know what's going on. After all, we need you to trust us in order to protect you, and trust is a two-way street," the Flash said, sitting down. "I'll start with me. I'd tell you my name, but you already know me, Linda," the Flash said while his vibrating, echoey voice was slowly changing into his normal voice. Linda gave a confused, curious look. "I don't understand," Linda said. Then the Flash lifts his cowl to reveal Barry Allen. Linda exhales in amazement. "Oh my God. I dated the Flash," Linda said, bewildered.
End of part 2. I would like to first say that I am actually gonna start more than one romance. The one between Pietro and Dr. Light is one of around two or three more than I'm gonna start. But second, I would like to apologize for this coming out so late. I actually took a little bit longer than I reasonably should have. That I will admit. And also, I would like to apologize for saying that Barry in this chapter will be focusing on his forensic work. That's not till, part 5, actually, because in this one, I was actually proving how good of a help Pietro can be, considering he actually swoops in this chapter and saves somebody that Barry couldn't. So in this chapter, it's more of Pietro proving himself to actually be useful, not better, just more useful than everybody originally thought, especially compared to Jay. But I do plan on not only involving him further, but also keeping another character around a little bit more longer, possibly throughout this entire story. Um, but now I'm gonna go ahead and say that next chapter will actually be more about Pietro sneaking visits to her. And I can't wait for you guys to read that one because I actually did work hard on that one. But for now, I'm gonna say see you all later.